Bickley and Marotta. Bickley and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
The Diamondbacks added a legitimate closer on Monday. It was the least and maybe the most they can do. By adding Paul Sewald, they are bringing in a veteran in a great career groove whose slider ranks among the filthiest pitches in baseball. And by not adding a guy like David Bednar instead, the Diamondbacks' gaggle of elite prospects and young talent remains intact. So, do they need more? Yes, they need another starting pitcher and a boom dynamite kind of bat, but the cost may not be worth the risk. The juice may not be worth the squeeze. Not in a year when it looks like the Braves are a powerhouse of a team in the National League. Remember my rule, you're a serious team when you're 10 games over 500. The Diamondbacks are no longer that team. Their run differential is 0, which is alarming, just like the 07 team that made the playoffs with a negative 20 run differential. So bottom line, the hope is the Diamondbacks offense springs to life at some point, and Sewald will not only close out the games they should win, but that his presence at the back end of the bullpen will have a dramatic effect on the closing stretch of a once promising season.
I don't know. He throws lots of strikes, and he gets swing and miss. I mean, it's what you're looking for in the back end of games. I think one of the things that, it's not a secret. I mean, we've done a decent job with Chase in our bullpen. We certainly have more Chase in our bullpen than we've had in the past, but we're not always getting that Chase. And I've always said that, when you have pitch to contact, a lot of times in the back end of games, you're susceptible to some of the things that have gotten us this year. And, hopefully we've addressed that to some degree.
Yeah, that's Mike Hazen talking about, if anything stood out to him about Sewald's fastball and sweeper, talking about
the sweeper.
Swing and miss.
Yeah.
The velocity is not going to wow you. The fastball tops out at about 92 miles per hour, according to all the data. But the strikeout numbers, the whiff rate, both something that is sorely missing from this Diamondbacks bullpen.
Yeah, he's got an 80s slider that is particularly nasty. And I think that's kind of the juice for him, and he competes. He gets after it a little bit. He's an interesting kid. This all just came out. Wasn't he a middle reliever for most of his career?
Yeah, started out with the Mets, got non-tendered by the Mets, ended up in Seattle, and it's kind of turned into their closer, and they're kind of scratching their heads in Seattle right now because you're still above 500, you're still competing for a wild card, and they just traded their closer to a team who's got a very similar record. So that's kind of the state of Major League Baseball right now, is this lumping of teams, and with the expanded playoffs and the extra wild card team, that extends some run for some teams. And
it goes to tell you that it's not clear cut. Just because you have a winning record doesn't mean you throw everything at it. The Mariners are throwing Teoscar Hernandez out there for any team that wants him.
The Mariners are a half a game behind the Angels in the standings. The Angels are going all in, have made 3 or 4 trades already.
Right.
And the Mariners are unloading their team.
Yeah, it's crazy.
The Mariners are making room salary-wise to make an offer for Shohei.
Shohei Ohtani.
The Angels fall short.
Whoa.
Well, that'd be a good fit.
Oh, would that ever? Would that be a great fit? Ichiro Part 2?
Yeah,
and I think
Julio Rodriguez and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah, I think that would probably appease the fan base in Seattle if that's their tact for the winter.
Wow. So this is so again the Diamondbacks might not be done. They might strike again today. They might strike twice today.
Here was Mike Hazen on the conference call last night. If there are any trades in the works right now?
No, I don't know if we're close on anything. You know how this time of year goes. Yes, we have a lot of irons in the fire, a lot of conversations. I have no idea what could be coming next. Hopefully there's more coming. Certainly this is a move for us that we're hoping to support the team and push the team back around in the other direction from, it's no surprise that the month we just had wasn't ideal. We didn't play very well. Sorry. We in any phase really. And I think that's something that was a little out of character for us. And hopefully we start playing better, and then we're able to do our part to support the team, which is critical.
Yeah, and the interesting thing, especially on the Sewald trade, is you give up 3 players, but 2 of them from the Major League roster They didn't give up anything resembling a top 10 prospect in the deal. I mean, you get varying reports from different outlets, and I know Canzone was about the 15th rated prospect in the Diamondback system, and he's shown some flash recently. Mm-hmm. I think Ryan Bliss, the third player that they gave up, is an interesting player. He's a smaller guy. He's 5'6", put up huge numbers at AA this year. Was hitting like 358, was struggling at AAA, but he fits the mold of what the Diamondbacks are becoming from a team that's really, really aggressive on the base pass because it's great stolen base numbers. But again, he was the 29th rated prospect in their system. So it's weird to give up that much major league talent. And Mike Hazen talked about that as well.
They were popular names. We knew you never really want to give up off of your team when you're in it in this situation. I don't think the choices for us there weren't a lot of great choices for us to accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. And in the end, I was focused more on what we were getting in terms of helping the rest of our club. But it was extremely difficult. It's always difficult to take players off that you really like, that you respect, that give so much to the organization. They'll have great opportunities where they're going. So that's obviously the plus there. But it was probably not what I had wanted to do initially, but what we ended up doing.
Yeah, and I know Canzone had some success and had some big hits recently. And I mean, when you boil it down, though, he was in the current your fifth outfielder. Mm-hmm. Josh Rojas had struggled, had bounced up and down between the minors and the majors, and I feel for him again because being a local kid, West Valley kid. Being a Diamondback meant something to him, even though it's not where he started his career. But hopefully for him, going to Seattle, he'll get some opportunity and could turn things around because it was a disappointing year for Josh Rojas. I think he's a really important player moving into this season for the Diamondbacks, and he just kind of underachieved.
Yeah, but there's really not a whole lot of we had to give up that piece. There's not a ton of that in this particular deal. Now, there might be some of that.
Said, look, there are popular names, but if you look at the baseball reality of it,
especially if you look at the ceilings.
Harsh. Yeah.
If you look at the ceilings of the guys they got up, they're solid players, but the ceiling wasn't going to be like this. Right. One of these guys is going to be that in future.
That's why I like that's why I like this move. You gave the team exactly what it needs with a piece that's good enough to do the job, banking on the fact that this now having a bullpen sealed up from the back is going to stop the leakage, and it's going to make them better. Because it's going to push the three guys who have really struggled at times, Scott McGuff, Miguel Castro, Andrew Chafin. It's going to push them up in the pecking order to lesser roles.
Yeah, and the other thing
less pressure roles.
The other thing I like about it, this is not just Paul Sewald for 50 games or whatever is left. This is Paul Sewald for 50 games.
Yeah,
and next year where the Diamondbacks can bolster their roster in the wintertime too. So I really like it. Curious to see what else they do. I'll be honest. Even with a win last night, it's hard to watch the Diamondbacks offense right now. Just not a whole lot of hard hit balls, not a whole lot of confidence or a real concerted approach at the plate right now. So they got to win. Maybe they can keep that up tonight. We'll see. But it could be a busy day for Mike Hazen between now and 3 o'clock.